Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lapstone Podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And we are so excited to talk today about the NASCAR final race of the season. A champion has been crowned, and this champion, he's got a special name, MJ.
Oh, yeah?
His name was Joey Logano. Okay, that's all you get for that.
It is very important to me. Ever since we found out, I just texted you randomly one day and I was like, you'll never guess what I just learned. Joey Logano.
Can I be honest? He does have such a special name. Like, who else could say that their name fits in that song?
My name does.
Do you want to give your full government name on the internet?
I
don't think so.
But it does.
I don't think so. I'll take your word for it. Mine doesn't. Ryan Blaney's doesn't.
Tyler Reddick's doesn't. Does anyone? No, it doesn't. We can do this another time.
His name was Tyler Reddick. So what about that? So what if I just did it?
No, it has to be 3 syllables for the second word.
My God. Okay, fine. You're right. Jesus.
Yeah.
Criminy.
Well, we can work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it. That's what, 3rd episode in the row that we've sang?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Do you think that's why we lost a subscriber on YouTube?
That's probably it. He was like, actually, you know what? The musical motorsport crossover, it's not going to work for me.
It's not going to work for me. I think that was a really fun final race for the NASCAR season, and I'm very excited to talk about it. Also, I feel like people call Joey Logano Jolo. I feel like I've seen Jolo, but just so you guys know, if you're watching this podcast, we are actually gonna make a movement. It's J-Lo. It's J-Lo.
Yeah.
So if you guys could follow along and just respect our creative differences, if you want to call him Jolo, it's definitely J-Lo. Okay. Last week we talked a little bit about race manipulation. Since then, we have had penalties handed out, penalties that I don't care about because they in no way affect the playoffs. Just as penalties are intended, right?
Right.
I thought, okay, so are we going to, put Christopher Bell in the playoffs? And they were like, no. And I was like, so are we going to, change anything about William Byron being in the playoffs and, penalize him in any way? And they were like, no. We're going to penalize Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain and
Austin Dillon.
Another person.
And one more guy. Should we reiterate what the penalties are for, or are we just going straight into it?
Because they're a bunch of doofuses doofing around, making it so they can't pass and making it so William Byron gets in the playoffs over my sweet innocent boy Christopher Bell, who did nothing wrong. And then they forced his hand, he had to ride the wall, and then he got in trouble.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what
happened, MJ, and I'm not taking any criticism or any other opposing views because I don't want to hear them. That's exactly what happened, and that's my truth. Okay?
That is exactly what happened.
But what did Big NASCAR have to say about it?
Big NASCAR decided that it was race manipulation. On behalf of the manufacturers, but apparently there's nothing in the rule book that says you can punish the manufacturers. I'm fully convinced that there is no rule book, and that every time they're like, okay, we got to discuss the rules, they just open up a blank Google Doc, and then they just write down the rules as they go, and then when they save it, they don't save it with a title or anything. So there's just a bunch of random that they can never go back to look at.
They just save it only so that in the future they don't accidentally completely oppose something that they've said before. So they're okay, we'll write this down in case it comes up again, but hopefully it doesn't. But they probably did try to penalize the manufacturers, and the manufacturers were like, no. And they were like, that's right, sorry, my B.
No worries. It's just so dumb. So cars number 1, 3, and 23 were all fined $100,000. Crazy amount of money, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. They each lost 50 driver points, and then each car had a crew chief, a spotter, and a team executive suspended. So all of those cars were driving with the new spotter.
That is
at
true.
This race. But it once again,
it is important.
It doesn't matter. Well, but it doesn't matter in the scope of playoffs. not negatively, they affected playoffs, and then like the penalties just like, I don't know. It's NASCAR.
Yeah,
What
I
is
do
there to
think
say?
like so this is our first year as NASCAR fans watching the playoff format.
Hmm.
And we can talk about that, whatever. But I do think it is interesting. Like I feel like other playoff races, there was like an energy of the other drivers still giving a fuck. This playoff race, it is so evident that nobody else gives a fuck what goes on
This
besides the four people racing for the playoff finals. Like literally, like they forgot that other drivers were there unless there was like traffic ahead of the leaders, and then the people that were the traffic would just move. Like they're like, I don't feel like doing this. Bye.
Yeah, they knew where their place was, which honestly, thank goodness. Because I
Yeah,
would have
it
been
is kind of
super pissed if someone was pulling out in front of the actual championship drivers. I would have been, unless it was like Martin Truex Jr., who this was his last race. I would have been like,
yeah, he has a
okay,
pass.
you get in
Yeah.
there, Martin. But anyone else, I would have been like, what are you doing here? Why are we still here?
I do think it is strange though. And like I wonder how it would work if a non-playoff winner would have or a non-playoff driver would have won today, because like they would have had to celebrate their win, and then it would have been
It would
like
have been weird.
get out of the way. Like you're actually not that important.
That would have been weird. They kind of did that in IndyCar when we went to Nashville, where Colton
Yeah.
Herta won. But they're like, okay, well, we have to do Alex Pillows. We have to do Alex Pillows. And then they weren't even going to do a Colton Herta podium, which was very odd to me. But no, that would have been weird vibes. That would have been weird vibes. But Joey Logano won.
So, but one more thing about the penalty. So it does literally nothing to prevent this from happening in the future. Like, yes, you're like kind of slapping
Well,
the wrist a little bit of being like, hey, like, stop, guys, like, don't do that anymore. But like, in reality, the amount of money that was fined and stuff, like, does it matter? And also, like, okay, you suspended people for people that were non-playoff drivers. Basically, what this tells me is that if you think $100,000 in affecting the race of non-playoff drivers on your team is worth it, to get, like in Hendrick Motorsports' case, like get one driver in the final four. Like if it weren't for Byron, like they would have had nobody in the final four. Or Joe Gibbs Racing, they did have nobody. Is it worth it? Probably. Probably.
maybe.
I think it
Maybe.
is. I
But
think
they
it'd be
did
worth it.
say that they do anticipate being able to find the actual engine manufacturers starting next year. So that's a deterrent if it's actually going to hurt the pockets of the engine manufacturers, because, I mean, it's just another thing to upset them. But as far as it goes, it's really hard to punish anybody in the playoff format if they're not a playoff driver.
It's
So
like,
I don't,
oh, you got me.
yeah, it's like I'm just here for participation points anyways. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you want
I'm
me to do
actually
about it?
here. I'm actually here to medal in the race to help my teammate win. That's actually basically the only thing I'm doing here.
You're punish me for doing my job? Isn't the playoffs about entertainment? Was that not entertaining?
I was
Your Honor,
entertained.
I rest my case.
Okay, so whatever. People are like, okay, MJ, Andrea, don't care. That was last week's news. Okay, you want to talk about this week's news? Let's talk about this week's news. Okay, jeez, stop yelling at us. Okay, we're trying our hardest. So Joey Logano won in once again what I thought was going to be a boring race. Can I be honest? It was really boring for a little bit there. It was really boring. We had that early restart because Ty Gibbs, who for a moment there I thought was Tyler Reddick, and I was like, that's it. I'm turning off the TV. I've had it. I've had it already. It was lap 2, and I was like, I'm done. Bye. But it was actually just Ty Gibbs. So I didn't really care. He hit the wall pretty hard
Pretty hard.
in a I'm assuming some sort of like mechanical issue
Yeah, it
or
had to be.
something. I don't know. But besides that, we were like kind of just doing a whole lot of nothing for a whole long while. All of the playoff drivers were sticking to the front pretty well for the first stage, I would say. And then let's just get out of the way. Things fell off for Tyler Reddick, and it bummed me out to see. It bummed me out to see. Guys, you guys made Michael Jordan sad. Nobody wants to see a sad Michael
No one
Jordan.
wants to see Michael Jordan sad. Or his little son, Bo. Did you see the commercial? I think it's Bo. Of, It was his son and his
Tyler
wife.
Reddick's son?
Yeah. And it happened.
Oh, I thought we were talking about MJ's son. I was like,
oh, no, I don't know
huh?
anything about MJ's son. I don't even know if MJ has a son. I don't know anything about
Me
Michael
neither.
Jordan. Period.
Anyways, so Tyler Reddick's son, in a more wholesome note, commercial.
Oh, the commercial.
Let me hear it.
They were sitting down to like obviously like make a sign or something for the race, and the mom goes, "What if we?" Or the son goes, "I think we should make a Pokemon." The mom goes, "What if we write down all the things we love about Daddy?" And the son goes, "I think we should make a Pokemon."
I think that he would actually probably like that way more too.
You know what I mean? Make a Pokemon. I thought that was really cute. Which made me want Tyler Reddick to win even more, because I was like, that's so wholesome. And then it was even just sadder seeing the slowly bleed places.
Oh my god, it was like kind of crazy seeing how far off the pace he was. Like, there was at one point where there was nobody out in front of him. Like, he could have been zooming right along.
It just wasn't happening.
There was no zooming, unfortunately.
Well, he did have car issues last weekend. Remember, he just like left in the middle of the race and the car was on fire, and he's like, "Yeah, I already won one, so we're fine." So maybe that was just a little bit of a foreshadowing that we didn't take seriously enough.
I'm so sad, though.
Well, he's still the regular season champion. Which means, I think, nothing, actually.
Do they get a trophy?
Yeah, he got a trophy.
That's good. Actually, I'm upset about this than I thought I would be. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, he was supposed to win. Like, he was supposed to win.
According to you?
To Michael Phelps. Too.
Oh, right.
Like, Michael Phelps was there, and he said that he wanted him to win. And, like, I just feel like Michael Phelps has done so much for our country with so many medals. Like, he deserved this.
A gift for his service? So Tyler Reddick win? Like, Did we let the country down?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, we were supposed to have Tyler.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Normally I don't get like this till like midnight when we film these videos, but I'm just like, I just feel like it's unfair. And we're losing it. Also, this is the first time I ever noticed that Tyler Reddick had sexy monster girls standing outside his car, and I just feel like that's such like a sick thing that he has like a whole hype crowd that no other team has. Like, he has like the sexy monster girls. He has Denny Hamlin. He has MJ. Everything I want, you know what I mean? He has a son who draws Pokemon. Like, he's just so sick. It was supposed to be Tyler. Anyways, I'll just get over it really fast.
Oh my god.
Is this how Kyle Larson fans felt last week? Like, I feel like this was them in our TikTok comments. Like, they were crying like this.
They were really upset. Yeah.
But I was like, L, losers, be Tyler Reddick, sorry. Right. So next playoff driver was William Byron. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
No, I didn't know how we were going to pivot off of that, but you're just like, so anyways, another playoff driver.
I literally said, I'll get over it real fast. And then I wiped my tears.
That's fair.
And I got over it.
This is going to be an interesting episode. I feel we've been recording for what, like 20 minutes less than?
15
minutes. And I just feel like we're losing it. The energy here, feral.
I already cried. So our next playoff driver was William Byron. Right. I was kind of scared for a little bit there he was going to win. And I was like, we can't. Hey guys, we can't have that. If I'm going to be honest, we can't have that. If you want any semblance of peace and sanity, we can't allow that. If NASCAR is scripted, delete this from the script. Quickly change it.
Immediately.
Edit. Let's improv. Let's come off script if that's the script. And I'm really glad that did not happen. He also chose like an alternate strategy that they were like, he pitted right before a caution, and the announcers were like, this is gonna work really well in William Byron's favor. And I was like, we're so done. We're
It's
so
over.
done.
It's over, guys.
It's over. It's Jover. I literally was like, if he wins, we're gonna have to rehash this whole discussion all over again. I don't want to do that. I'm still undecided on the initial discussion.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad they saved us on that one. I'm glad NASCAR decided to rewrite that really quick. He put it in the email. NASCAR put it in the email.
They fixed the script. But I also thought Christopher Bell was going to win it for a little bit, and I love Christopher Bell. Weirdly for him, I was like, yeah, you show him, Christopher Bell. You show him what they're missing in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, you go off, King. But then I was like, nah, he can't win either. The script needs to change quickly. So that leaves us with our last two, Blaney and Logano.
The Penske boys. Can I say something really quick?
Of course it's Roger Penske.
Roger. I can't stand that man. I can't stand that man.
He's always at the scene of the crime. He's always at the scene of the crime. Oh my God.
Anyways.
And like the way that they had like a Taylor Swift at a football game style camera going on in that suite, like they were like, the boss man is here, and it would like cut to like Roger Penske in his like big ass suite, and I was like, why does this camera angle exist? Like, why do we need a Roger Penske cam? Who's asking for that? Not me. Like, I don't care. Of course he's there. Of course he's there. What do you mean?
What else does he have to do? What
else would he be doing?
Oh, Roger, dude.
And like,
it was so bittersweet.
What was the sweet part of it?
That's actually a great point. It was mostly just bitter. Just bitter.
Literally, there was like obviously a pretty boring like middle part to the race, and you could tell like the commentators were trying to jazz it up. They were quick on their feet, right? And they're like, let's just glaze Roger Penske for 30 minutes. The audience would love that. And they were like, nobody does it like this man. He knows how to. We were talking to Joey Logano, and they said it's not even about going fast. It's about winning. It's not about money. It's about winning. It's like, I have a feeling it's maybe about money a little bit. I think that Roger Penske might be a little bit about the money.
Yeah, based on empirical evidence, it's actually always been about the money.
The winning is fun, but you do need money to do that. So he's just going to do more of the money part. So we have Roger Penske. He's winning either way. He does not give a fuck. He does not care. He's like, whatever, losers, race it out or don't care. And we have the last 30 laps is when I was like, Joey, you might want to click the go pedal a little harder. I
was so nervous. Watching Brian Blaney hunt him down, I was like, okay. Okay.
I was like, hey, Joey, he seems really serious. You might want to go fast. He's not messing about.
No, he was on the hunt. It was an impressive drive from Ryan. There were a couple moments when they were kind of battling where I was like, Ryan's got this. Like, we're going to have a Blaney championship. I'm
trying to figure out like what Joey did to like 3 laps left. Like, I was like, he's definitely about to, like, they were literally side by side. And then all of a sudden, they just weren't anymore. And
he was just
Joey
gaining
didn't win
speed
by
out
much.
of nowhere. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know if it was because for a while, Ryan Blaney was losing speed, like just bleeding it. So maybe it was his car issue. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe like Roger got on the call and he's like, "Hey,"
and he was like,
"Why don't we let Joey have this one? It's gonna look better for marketing." Is it?
I don't really know how NASCAR marketing works because, like, yeah, they are on the same team, but, like, people are like, Joey Logano, he'll be a 3-time winner, and that's cooler than a 2-time winner. But then I guess, like, it's kind of rare to defend your title in NASCAR? Question mark?
I genuinely don't know. I also don't really have enough of a handle on the drivers to know, like, who the fans like. I know who they don't like. But I don't
Joey
really
Logano.
know. Yeah, Joey Logano. I don't know if there's enough fans who favor Ryan Blaney, because I know there's a lot of just like anti-Penske people, but I don't know if there would be enough demand for
Be
a
honest,
Blaney
is that
win.
you? Be honest, is that you? Anti-Penske?
Anti-Roger Penske, absolutely.
See, for me, I wanted Tyler to win, but if it wasn't Tyler, I wanted it to be Logano.
I predicted Logano, so obviously I wanted him to win. That was who I predicted, which means, if you think about it, it means I won. This is my championship, Joseph.
Oh my God, Joseph Logano.
Joseph Logano, Joseph Newgarden, known for driving a Penske and possibly cheating.
Yeah, but that's why we love him. I don't know. I feel like let's like talk about it. The fans fucking hate Joey Logano. They want him dead. Like they literally are on Twitter right now, like being like, he's actually the worst performing person to ever be a champion. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, but this is like, but like, he did the best today, which is what he needed to do.
People are so mad because I know there's obviously like the beef. He and Denny Hamlin, I think people dislike for the same reason because they're kind of like rough drivers and were known to like wreck people. But do you think people are more so pissed about the fact that Joey Logano wasn't even supposed to make it to this round of the playoffs? And
yeah, I think that this is just a argument about the format,
the playoffs.
But it's like manifesting and like let's be mad at Joey Logano, which is unfortunate for him because it's like, but what the fuck was I supposed to do about it? Like, I'm here.
It was handed to him. I don't think Joey Logano cares. I don't think Joey Logano cares. I think he's totally fine.
Because I feel like, yeah, no, he doesn't give a fuck. I think that I'm trying to think like if Tyler Reddick would have won, for example, like there couldn't be any argument about the format in a way because it would have been like
that would have almost been the best case scenario for the playoff format because he like fought tooth and nail. He was the champion, regular season champion, won the playoffs. So it's really, but it also would have been the worst for NASCAR because he is on the team that is currently suing NASCAR. So is there any like straight wins? Because William Byron, obviously, if he won, people argue that he shouldn't have even.
This whole thing.
Yeah. Ryan Blaney would have been the best option. And
so actually, I think that the script might have been Ryan Blaney wins, and Joey Logano is actually anti-establishment, and he tore down the script. And like we should all be like, dude, Joey's such a take that, France family. What now?
He's done a lot. He's done a lot for us, hasn't he?
He's like the Katniss Everdeen of NASCAR.
Insane.
Tearing down the script, and then Roger Penske is President Coin. He's gonna tear them down next. And then, but now they're on the same team. But like, he is the President Coin, and Joey Logano will be sure to take care of it.
That's hilarious. Does that mean the France family, or what is it, Jim France, is President Snow?
President Snow. Correct.
Wow. Who's PETA? If we're already talking about it's Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell.
It's Christopher Bell.
Although Christopher Bell started getting spicy this week, kind of like how PETA used to in Hunger Games, you know what I mean? Where he like started to wake up to the establishment. He got in the press and he was like, actually, what if I was cheated? But part of me was like, I don't know, babes. I do think that maybe the rules were broken a little bit on both sides. But I love like when you tell yourself something enough, you start to believe it. And Christopher Bell was like, no, I was cheated. No, I literally was cheater cheats, cheated me out.
Let's hear him out. Let me play devil's advocate. Let me play Christopher advocate.
No, I'm on Christopher's team. So this is for, hey, you in the audience. She's playing devil's advocate. Go.
I'm playing Christopher's advocate. He's not the devil, as far as we
know.
Angel advocate for our precious little angel baby. Christopher, I'm just infantilizing him. He doesn't need me to do that. Had that Chevy wall not been formed right behind Mr. Byron, he would have continued
in this scenario.
No comment, Your Honor. He would have continued to bleed spaces. Thus, Christopher Bell, the angel in this scenario, wouldn't have had to pull that move around Bubba, which subsequently sent him into the wall, where he then committed the wall ride that is prohibited. So, if you think about it...
Also, Bubba's also Angel in this situation, too.
Bubba didn't do any... What did Bubba do wrong? I don't...
Guys, nothing.
My bias is showing. I don't understand what he technically did wrong. I don't understand. I don't know. Because what he didn't, like... Hey, Anyways.
We're making a space for ourselves in the NASCAR arena of discourse, MJ, because I think we are the only ones in the entire world that are fine with Logano winning today, have like kind of shrug shoulders type of attitude about the playoffs, and are pro Christopher Bell did nothing wrong and should have rode the wall harder. So you heard it here first, guys. We offer a different point of view.
I'm not saying that he should have rode the wall. I'm saying that his hand was forced in the situation.
I'm saying what wall?
I'm saying if you're gonna put the wall there, they're gonna ride it.
Right. So I guess, like, is that the best way to categorize our overall feelings about the playoffs? Because they're not going anywhere. So I'm kind of just like shrug shoulders. I'm like, I don't know, like they exist. They're not going anywhere. And like Logano won because he played the playoff game the best.
I mean, that's fair. I think I have opinions on the playoffs, I will say. I think that the formatting that they have right now, it could be improved. I'm not saying get rid of the playoffs, but remember, I think I sent you a clip. It was like Kevin Harvick talking about like the regular season champions, like the first four or whatever, having guaranteed spots. Like, what was it? He said, like, if you win the regular season, you automatically make it to the round of four. If you get second in the whatever. I think from a marketing standpoint, my credentials are, I have a master's degree, or almost have a master's degree in digital marketing, so I know a lot about marketing. Okay, I'm basically guys, an expert.
Listen up.
I think they're amazing for entertainment.
Okay,
like absolutely, like they have done a very good job of making themselves an entertainment spectacle. Now, does that really? On the racing side of things, is it like true racing? Are we actually getting the best winner at the end of the year? No. But it's getting numbers, like it's doing numbers. People are asking us about like the playoff formats because they're seeing headlines. It's doing really well for what NASCAR is, which is first and foremost an entertainment series, and then like second, a racing series, which is what they have decided themselves. I'm not saying that.
Well,
but that's
I do think that there is something interesting about the playoff format that allows you to be like, okay, this is the race where we're crowning a winner. This is the race where somebody becomes the champion for the season. That is something that I have found so interesting about being an F1 fan, is that, like, we have no idea when somebody is going to become the winner of the season. It could happen next week. It could happen the week after. It could happen in Abu Dhabi. The best case scenario is like a 2021 Abu Dhabi last race of the season, came down to the wire, Lewis versus Max. That's what you need to have a successful like viewership. But you can't formulate that in the way that F1 operates. You kind of can't do it in IndyCar either. IndyCar lucks out though because the difference in race weekend makes it so like you still kind of are like anybody could win. Like it could be anybody's game, so like it still kind of went all the way to Nashville. I admire how with NASCAR it was like I like logged on today to watch this fucking race, and I was like, today's the day. Doesn't matter what you did for the rest of the fucking season, today's the day. If you do the best today, you win, period. That is like marketing gold. Everything was branded championship race, like let's go, final four.
They're kind of following like the Super Bowl format where it's like you have one big game at the end of the year, like. And I think is it not working? Is it not working? Which
I had fun.
And it's they were talking about, because we've been giving them grief about the Phoenix racing, because we know that Phoenix has really bad racing. Everyone's like, we don't want the end of the year to finish at Phoenix. But it's selling out. People are showing up, people are tuning in. It may not provide great on track product, but it's working. The same goes for the playoffs. It pisses a lot of people off. It's not super fair to the drivers, is it not entertaining? Is it not getting the numbers? That's where you have to have the Franz family or whoever, the president of NASCAR, buy into NASCAR as a product and be like, do we care about racing? Do we care about the money, the entertainment value? Yeah. And if they wanted to make amendments to the playoffs to better the racing, but maybe hurt the entertainment value, that's their decision. I don't know. I don't think playoffs are ever going to go anywhere. I'm not even sure they're ever going to be amended, to be fair.
No, I think as much as everybody wants to hate on it, guess what? You're still watching. You're still watching. You're yelling online about how Kyle Larson should have made it in the Final Four, and you're probably right. But guess what? You still tuned in.
And you're talking about it.
And you're talking about it. And Joey Logano won. And that's all that's going to go in the history books. And all this nuance about who should have made it, who shouldn't have made it, is going to get forgotten in time. And all that's going to matter is that the people showed up and they watched the race. And Joey Logano won.
Yeah.
And the only people that are going to be pissed about it are the drivers who are hurt by it. So this year, Kyle Larson's going to be pissed. Maybe next year, Joey Logano will be pissed. Maybe he'll be the one who should have made it and didn't. I think, like, everybody's going to, like, at some point benefit and everybody's going to at some point lose.
It's
because the playoff system,
everybody.
It all evens out.
For sure.
In the end, I think. I mean, like, I'm trying, I can't really think of anybody who's just all around fucked.
I can't either.
I think it's like it all evened out.
It's interesting. It's a very interesting case study, especially because, like, it's something that the fans, like, it's so contentious with the fans, and the fact that NASCAR is like, yeah, well, it's getting good views. I don't really care what the fans think. What if did you see on Twitter, me citing Twitter as my source, I don't know whether
X.
Max Verstappen. Thank you so much.
Actually, it's X.
It's actually called X. I don't remember if it was the president of NASCAR or the COO, but they said that all the people complaining about it on social media, all of them were bots, which I think is hilarious because...
Wait, yeah, I did see that, and I was like, no, I think they're real people. I think they're actually just angry.
Every single one of them is a bot. Every single one of them. I was like, you don't know how bots work. Do you think bots are like robots? It's just like a little like metal robot sitting at home typing into the computer. Is that what you think what a bot is?
Me when anybody disagrees with me. I think those are actually bots.
It's just a bot.
Yeah. Yikes, those bots are getting good at sounding like real people. Anyways,
that's our podcast is just bots. You and I, we're just bots.
We're actually an AI experiment that you have been tuned into for like 6 weeks now. All of that data, it's fueling more AI bots. They're getting really good at
They're giving more computers microphones.
And also, much like ChatGPT and stuff, sometimes we give you super wrong information, and it's actually a test to see who comments on our videos to tell us how wrong we are.
Sometimes people do.
You passed.
Doing a good job.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of that on that with NASCAR. I mean, like, it wasn't like the world's most exciting race besides the last couple of laps. And I was like, Joey, you gotta go. And then he did. It would have been crazy if Joey lost in the last lap. That would have been insane. But he didn't. So the race was kind of boring a little bit.
I think people wouldn't argue if we said it was like a mid to bad race. It wasn't like an exciting race. Not a whole lot happened, especially at that track. But that's what it is. Why did
nobody crash? I think it would have been more fun if they like crashed within themselves into the wall.
Oh.
I think it would have been more fun if people purposely crashed people out to win. I like those. I think they're entertaining. Give you something to talk about.
It does happen sometimes.
Do you think that people are going to be on their best behavior now after Martinsville? I don't want that.
I mean, I doubt it. Not until but the issue is this really only matters in playoffs, so we won't know for another year. So we'll circle back. Because it doesn't matter in the regular season. Like the same way.
Looking into 2025, did you see that Denny said that he doesn't know if 2311 is going to be in Daytona? I was like, Denny, what do we mean? Denny, what? Denny, no. Denny, no, you have to go there. You can't let them
Denny,
win. No.
please. I did see that. Maybe he's just kind of covering his ass because he made that whole statement where he was like, we'll race whether we have charters or not. And then NASCAR was like, they said they were going to race whether they have charters or not. Why are we giving them charters? So maybe he's covering his ass. And he's like, guys, I just really don't know if we're going to be able to race in Daytona if we don't have these charters.
Joey Logano, Katniss Everdeen, do something about this. Like, the France family's getting away with it. They're getting away with it. No, I'm getting so mad about this stupid lawsuit because I don't think it's like going in the direction of 2311, and it should, and it's making me mad.
Did I not say that when we first started talking about this? Did I
don't
not
remember.
say it wasn't going to work out for them? I
stopped listening. I stopped listening when I heard something I didn't agree with, and I went, that's a bot.
I think MJ's a bot.
Bot alert, bot. No, I'm getting really mad about it. I'm actually getting really mad. And everybody in the comments is like on NASCAR's side. I think we lost the plot a little bit, guys.
That's
we
crazy.
lost the plot a little bit. They're like, that's what you guys get for like ruining the sport and causing a fuss and a ruckus. I'm like, you want to see a fuss and a ruckus? You want to see a fuss and a ruckus? I'm about to cause one right now. Please, this sport. I need Denny and 2311 to be in it. Do you guys like Michael Jordan? He's going to stop showing up if he loses the lawsuit.
We're going to lose Michael Jordan.
On top of that, and you know who's on my side for sure? For sure, the Full Speed producers. They're like, fuck no. You guys cannot do this to Denny. He's the star of the show. He's the Daniel Ricciardo of Full Speed.
Don't say that. That didn't work out for Daniel Ricciardo. Pick someone else.
I was just meaning somebody. No. It's just Denny. So that's that on that. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I'll get on the case, guys. I think that they got to bring in some help, and I think that I'm the best suited for it, probably. So I'm going to start pouring over the filings, like seeing what I can get out of it, and I'm sure there's a way we can win this case. I'll be in the courtroom next time, and I'll take care of it. Don't worry. And if you disagree, you're a bot. So anyways,
Jesus.
On to F1.
Wait. I just want to say that the next race for NASCAR, because we're officially in the NASCAR off season, and it baffles me how short the NASCAR off season is. It's in February. February 2nd is the Clash. Isn't that crazy? Or no? Is that not crazy?
No, okay, that is crazy. And IndyCar just posted today, like 150 days or something. I'm like, hey guys, just don't speak until we're like within 20 days.
I don't want to hear from you. Just comment. I don't want to hear from you. This is a bot. Hey bot, report as a bot, please. So on to F1. Okay.
LOL. Andrea Stella coming out and saying that Lando's World Drivers' Championship was never McLaren's priority. So what was all this about then? That's my response to that. So why were we doing all this?
What a bold thing to say when none of the evidence... Does he know? Wait, maybe he doesn't know this, so maybe we shouldn't fault him. Does he know that everything's recorded, like the races are, and the broadcasts, and all of the media is recorded? Does he know that when journalists are writing down his quotes, that those quotes are going somewhere in a permanent form? Do you think what if he doesn't know that? And everything he said, he's just like, oh, they'll forget.
If I was Oscar, I would burn that building down.
Oh, I would
I'd be like, McLaren Technology Center? Not anymore. I burnt it down. Because what the fuck was all that about? What was all that about? You guys literally made this whole fucking fake-ass papaya rules bullshit. For what? Oh my god. I'm so ready for Oscar to destroy McLaren next year from the inside out. Because they're going to be like, oh, Oscar, like, remember when, like, you were, like, super sick and cool and let Lando pass all the time? Do you think we could do that again this year? And he's going to be like, who's Lando? I ran him off the track. I flipped his car. Like, he's going to go insane, I think. Because now it's, like, wide open. It's wide open.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't mean anything, he shouldn't have to do it. So, that's that on that. Andrea Stella.
If you guys thought I was bad at justifying Christopher Bell's actions, wait till I start justifying Oscar Piastri's.
He can do no wrong.
He can do no wrong. But yeah, I just thought it was so stupid. It was like, we heard you on the radio, bud. We heard you. You made this big woohoo about it. Literally last weekend. You made a big woohoo about it. Do you remember that? You made us do this whole safety car switch
position.
Why would you do that?
Do they think we're stupid? Why
yes.
not, like... It's, like, so defeating just to deal with F1 trying to talk to the media. I don't know.
You know
it's
who else
ridiculous.
is, like... You know who else, like, forgets that everything they say to the media is recorded and we can all hear it and go back to it and tell you how wrong you are? Toto Wolff. Literally, this man has had 5 different stories about how he found out that Carlos Sainz was getting fired and Lewis was going to Ferrari. He has made up, like, literally so many different stories. At first it was like, oh, like, I had no idea at all. I was blindsided and Lewis came over to my house and, like, told me and I had no idea and I was so blindsided. And then he was like, oh, I kind of knew that already. But then once Lewis told me for sure, I immediately wanted to hire Kimi Antonelli. And it's like, well, that's not true because you tried to hire Max Verstappen several times. And then he was like, now saying like, oh, actually, I like totally knew all along, but it was like confirmed to me by Carlos Sainz Sr., Carlos Sainz's dad. And then like I was mad because had I known that, I would have tried to get Charles or Lando because their contracts were like up or something. And I was like, right. So what, first of all, we know that you tried to hire Max because you did it in the press. You were literally begging him to come to your team several times. Mm-hmm. You said you immediately knew you wanted to hire Kimi. Then why didn't you do it? You could have signed him long before Monza. You wanted to sign Charles, Lando? Why? What are we saying here? Are you dumb?
He's just like fabricating his own narrative.
Yeah, I'm like, literally, what is the truth, Toto?
He's a storyteller.
What is the truth?
I can't be mad at him for it. I think it's fun. He's writing his own fan fiction. So Brad Pitt can do it, but Toto Wolff can't. He's just having a good time.
And could you imagine George Russell? Like, he probably feels so gaslit by all these, like, stories. Like, he's like, so were you ever playing? Or... Sorry, my cat just opened the door and I almost shit myself. I was so scared.
Your cat can open doors? I was
so scared. Yeah, it's a new thing he knows how to do. But I don't know. I think that Toto Wolff, like, he also just forgets that we can hear everything that you've said to the press. It's actually recorded and put into the papers.
Part of the press. That's why they're doing that. They're not just talking to you, Toto. They don't just want to get to know you. They have their prerogative is letting everyone else know what you say.
Do you think that Andrea Stella and Toto Wolff are nearing Helmut Marko? Maybe it's like contagious. Like maybe like it's like spreading across the paddock. Like we can't contain it. Like people are saying dumber and dumber shit to the press, and like soon we're just gonna start getting like Helmut Marko-esque quotes from anybody. Anybody could be a victim of it.
First of all, Lando was never an option. Lando was never an option.
No, okay. I'll talk about it. None of these people were an option. What do you mean? No. First of all, you get told, oh, like, Carlos is getting fired from Ferrari and replaced by Lewis. And your thought is, can I get Charles?
Mm-mm. He's not an option.
No, you fucking dumbass. What do you mean? You're getting called by Carlos Sainz's dad. That means Charles is not an option. Fucking dumbass. Second of all, Max, why would Max come to your team? This is fresh off a season where he literally won like every race except for one. Why would he come to your team? Your team was doing nothing that whole time. Your car sucked. Lando, I don't think he can leave McLaren. I think he is actually... I think he sold his soul to some sort of contract. Like, who knows what would happen if he tried to leave McLaren. I think it's delusion, it's sickness, and it's sad. And Toto Wolff needs to be checked out by a doctor.
He needs a treatment, he needs a cure, and he needs a break.
And his first thought is child labor. You hear Lewis is leaving, and the first thought you have is child labor. Kimmy was nowhere near of age, Toto, to be driving your stupid car. Why would you think that?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Good for him.
Anyways.
He has such a creative imagination.
Right. And I love Susie. I can marry her if he continues to treat her wrong. If I treat her wrong, I mean be delusional and silly and run that team to the ground. Yeah. But speaking of rookies in the Kimi Antonelli of it all, we have another rookie joining the grid at stake.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Why? So his name's Gabriele Bortoleto. He's Brazilian. He was the F2 winner, question mark? Or F2 just at one point was leading?
I think he's leading. Yeah.
Yeah, he's leading it. Okay. They have, I have no idea what's going on with F2 ever, if you put a gun to my head, because it seems like they are always up to something over there. At one point, like, Hajar was leading, and they were like, this is the new star of F1 because he's winning in F2. And then they're like, oh, just kidding. That's not how F2 works. There's a new leader now. And I was like, yeah, because there's like different winners for every race because it's like a developmental series. And you can't just say because this person's winning F2 that means that they're the star of F1. But whatever. What do I know? But I do think it is kind of fun that we're getting another rookie. I don't know. A lot of people were upset about how... So they announced Valtteri and Joe were leaving the team. They both put out individual statements on their own social media, and then not even 5 minutes later, there was a post announcing Gabriele Bortoleto as coming to stake. Now, this has been an ongoing thing all year. Fans are upset about how they've been, like, announcing driver lineup changes, especially, like, the lack of, like, respect to the people leaving before they announce the new person. What is your opinion on this? As we have already stated, you have a marketing degree.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. It's dumb. It's dumb that they do that, but they do it. Like, that's just the status quo. I didn't have a beef with it because they had just done it to Daniel Ricciardo. And then previously they did it to Logan Sargent. However, they did the reverse where they announced his replacement. And then they were like, oh, yeah, bye,
Logan's
Logan.
leaving.
Yeah. It doesn't, I don't understand why they do that. I think it's cheap. I think it's lazy, especially because it would be so easy to spend like 24 hours just being like, look at all the good memes from Joe and Valtteri. It would be so easy to do that. You have the footage available. I don't really understand why they do it. I think Haas is kind of doing a really good job right now. Have you noticed that Haas is like posting just like a shit ton of K-Mag content?
Yeah, they posted like he passed away during the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend. I literally thought he died. They posted like a remember when he got pole photo, but it was like framed in a way that like I literally was like, what sort of stomach bug did this man have? Like he passed away.
That one was really bad. And then they posted a picture. It was like a headshot of him, like shoulders up. Like he was, and I mean, it had been edited to like look a little angelic. And it was like, you know who would have loved these wet races? And I was like, what? Huh? I was like, oh my God, he's not dropped. He's dead.
No, I was scared that K-Mag died for like a full 20 minutes. But that's how long it took me to read the caption. Yeah, and then I was like, well, he's fine. I will say, I think that everything that Stake did wrong, they did all of it wrong. Okay, and I don't have a degree in marketing, but I'll tell you why. First of all, they have Valtteri and Joe not have a full 24-hour moment, like you said. Second of all, they announce it on election night. Do you think that there might be other things in the news cycle going on? Yeah, anyways. Third of all, if he's a Brazilian driver, why wouldn't you announce it during the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend?
That also seemed like a missed opportunity. I wonder if it just wasn't signed yet. You think? Because there's no reason you wouldn't just do it the weekend before, truthfully.
Because that's what they did with, like, Kimi for, like, Monza. They wanted it to be, like, a big deal of, like, he's in his hometown, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, because it is, like, it would be cool to, like, feel like a celebrity in your hometown. Like, oh, my God, this is our Brazilian racer who's going to be on the grid next year. But instead, they have all these fans hyped about Franco Colapinto when secretly there's going to be another South American driver and nobody even knew. missed opportunity, dumb. You could have actually gotten people to care about steak for a full weekend. Do you know how hard that is to do?
It's
and yet they
incredibly
managed to fuck it up completely and entirely.
Embarrassing, truthfully.
Valtteri deserves better, and so does Zhou.
Oh, I love Zhou. I love Zhou. I love him.
I do too. I do think that he is gonna like race somewhere else.
I wonder if he'll go to Formula E, because they want him so bad.
There is a lot of hype. Yeah,
they want him so bad.
And then Valtteri, I kind of could see him like dipping his toe in like Le Mans this year. Like I could see like if like a team needed somebody to like round out a Le Mans team, like I could see him being like one of those F1 drivers that just kind of like pokes in to like endurance racing every once in a while for like the big races.
You don't think he'll try to get a job with Mercedes as a reserve driver?
I think he is going to do that, but Mick was the reserve driver and he did Le Mans. Also, I saw this amazing post by somebody on Twitter, never said those words in my life, and it was like about like how crazy this year has been for Mick. So it started with he's a reserve driver for Mercedes, and Toto is like trying to push him off onto other teams and be like, he is a good driver, give him a chance, all while having an open spot on his own team that he 100% could have given Mick if he believed that that was the case and he deserved the spot. And then you have Esteban Ocon is leaving Alpine and going to Haas. There's a spot on Alpine, a team that Mick does have a lot of connections with because he drove for the Alpine brand in WEC. And so allegedly what happened was they did a head-to-head test between Jack Doohan and Mick Schumacher, but apparently Mick Schumacher had different conditions for his test. This is all alleged. I have literally no idea. But like the data still showed that he had good times and could have been in that Alpine seat. And then Alpine kind of dragged him along before kind of surprise announcing, I guess, that he was not going to get the seat. Like, I guess he didn't know that they had made a decision until they announced Jack Doohan. So then I'm like, okay, damn, rough life in Mick, but he'll bounce back. You have Logan Sargent fired and everybody talking about Mick being the reserve driver for Williams, or for Mercedes, means he's also, I think, the reserve driver for Williams at the time, because Williams didn't have an official reserve driver. So people thought Mick would get to go to Williams. And then James Vowles was like, but have we considered that Mick Schumacher sucks? And then Mick Schumacher's mom had to yell at James Vowles. And then we have this whole drama of Stake wanting German drivers, people thinking that that meant Mick was in contention, and it's like, psych, no, he's not. There's somebody in Formula 2 that's going to be better than you because you're not shiny and new anymore. I kind of thought about it, and I was like, Mick Schumacher has had the worst year of his life.
He's been through a lot.
And he's fired as the reserve driver because Valtteri Bottas is going to take the job.
Yeah, that sucks. It sucks that he went through a lot, and he wasn't, I don't think he was ever truly on the table anyways, so he just had to deal with people constantly being like, what, are you going to go there? And he's like, probably not. And everyone's like, okay, well, what about if you go here?
Yeah. I think that he was like just kind of led on a lot by these teams. I kind of feel like people just like to fuck around a little bit with his name because it carries a lot of weight. And I can't help but to think that they just are kind of just like being disrespectful as hell to him. And I feel kind of bad because you do have to remember, like, his dad is not really an active role in F1. Stick up for him in a way that I'm sure he would like to. And tell these teams, like, you're literally just dragging my son along for clicks and attention because you want the Schumacher name associated with your team, but you don't want to, like, actually pay respect to him in any sort of way. Just tell him that he's not getting the seat. That's it. Why do you do these stupid things? Like, oh, we're going to test with him. Ooh, we're going to test with Mick Schumacher. Don't do that if you have no intention of giving him the seat. That's so stupid.
He's doing well in the series that he's in, though. I think if we just laid his name to rest, I think if those bitches just took his name out of their mouth, all of us would be so much happier. Leave Mick alone, Toto, and Christian Horner, and whoever the fuck else. Just like leave
Helmet
him alone.
Marco, I'm sure you were part of that. Helmet Marco. Everybody likes to run their mouth and get clicks with his name, and I've had it.
Leave him alone. This is, guys, I'm being serious right now. Keep his name out of your mouth.
I don't want to hear it again. Mick, honey, get behind me.
It's just a bunch of bots, Mick. Don't worry. It's just a bunch of bots.
Mama, a Mick Schumacher behind you. But I think he should just go to WEC and live in peace and harmony. Thoughts?
He's doing fine. He's doing fine in WEC. Get him in WEC. Maybe get him in IMSA. He's doing well in endurance racing. If he wants to fuck around and find out in the future in a single-seater open wheel racing, he could try out. They're just handing out tests in IndyCar. He could go to IndyCar for a second. Well, at least test for it.
Speaking of tests in IndyCar / people that just need to go off into WEC or IMSA and live a peaceful life, Logan Sargent. Everybody is so pissed that he did not get that Prima seat.
He wasn't ever going to get the Prima seat.
It wasn't in the cards, babes. It wasn't in the cards. They literally had probably already made a decision before Logan was even out of F1 officially. So what the fuck are we yelling at Prema for? What do you want them to do? Nothing.
I think it is a lot of people who are just F1 fans, though, who don't know anything about IndyCar. Prema literally came out and said, we want a veteran IndyCar driver. And then we want a nice little European Prema boy who is also blonde. And that's what they got. Where's Robert from?
Bad question. Try again. Israel / Russia.
I get it.
Yeah.
It was never going to be Logan. It was never going to be Logan. I think we'll see. Well, actually, he's going to be testing at the same time that we're in Las Vegas. So we could, if we wanted to, we could just slip on over to California.
Viva Las Vegas.
And we could go see his IndyCar test. Viva I'm hoping he does well.
Las Vegas. Sorry,
we have to stop singing. We're going to lose subscribers. Las Vegas. There goes another one.
Sorry, MJ, I can't hear you. Viva Las Vegas. Yeah, you heard it right, guys. Me and MJ coming at you in Vegas. Probably not actually normal podcast schedule, though. We haven't worked that out yet. We might have to change our upload a little bit because unless we want to film the day after the race.
I don't have any plans.
Right. I'll be on a plane. Wait, podcast from a plane?
I don't know how it would work.
I start asking the people next to me, what do you think? Anyways.
What do you think?
So that's set on F1, I think. Oh, F1 Academy. The 2024 champion will receive a fully funded seat with Rodin Motorsport? Rodin? Like rodent. It sounds like a rodent, guys. Rodin Motorsport. What? You're going to tell me it doesn't sound like rodent? Don't laugh at me.
No, it does. The deeper we get into this podcast, the more apparent it is we're recording very close to our bedtimes, I feel like.
And what are you guys going to do about it? And they also get 20 days of testing and a financial contribution from the Pirelli Prize. I don't know. I feel like they should get more than that. I don't know.
You think they should get more than that?
I think they should get a seat in F3.
F3 is too high. F3, they need to go to F4 first. Because the cars they're below F4. They're not at F4 level. So
they should give them better cars.
Right. We're not there yet, though. We are not fiscally.
I am.
We are not. Right.
Susie Wolf, I'm there.
That's something you can draw up while you're in the courtroom with the 2311 case. You can just on the side work about how to improve Formula One Academy.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. It just seems like some of these girls are so fucking talented.
You just have to...
It's making me mad.
It is frustrating
Put him in Lance Stroll's seat. What are we doing? Fuck around and find out. You're telling me you're looking me in the eyes and you're telling me that you don't think Abby Pulling could do better in that car than Lance Stroll could? I could. I'll say it.
I have no qualms with Lance Stroll. I'm only a fan of bad drivers.
You have no qualms with Lance Stroll?
I have no qualms with Lance Stroll. Besides the fact that he, assaulted one of his workers. I mean, that wasn't great.
Oh my god, T. We'll talk about that later. I did not know that.
Wait, it was on TV. It was during a practice. He, shoved him, threw his helmet into him and shoved him. That's what I'm talking about.
Probably shouldn't have done that. No, I just feel like F1 Academy, I don't know what is enough. I just feel like this one isn't.
No, but it is only the second year, which I think is important to remember.
Fair.
And the strides that we have made
Fair.
from last year to this year, Marta Garcia, who won last year, she didn't get a guaranteed seat anywhere. She's just kind of bouncing
She didn't get
around.
anything.
Nothing that was enough. But I think this is a huge step for F1 Academy. Personally.
I do think it is, like, interesting seeing, too, like, F1 Academy has started posting more on their socials about the work that they're doing at the karting level, which has been really interesting, like, because that is so much of, like, what the real issue is. It is cool to see that they're supporting, like, really young girl drivers, like, at the karting level, too, because, the reality is that will probably do more in the long run than, like...
Absolutely.
Whatever. But I don't know. I was kind of like, whoever the F1 Academy champion is, I think that they should probably get anything that they ask for. Name a price. I'll find the money.
They should get
like
3 wishes from a genie. I don't know why that wasn't in there.
I'm like, you guys are everything, and I think you should get whatever you ask for.
No, I totally agree.
I guess, maybe F3 is a big jump.
It's a big jump. A lot of them are actively participating in F4 series though. So I feel like I'm happy with this. I don't think it's the best, but I'm just glad that we're making the strides.
So tell me what you don't like, specifically about Formula E.
The Formula E women's test happened last week, which is an amazing thing. I have no qualms with the actual women's test.
So MJ, do you hate women or
No. Andrea.
That's good. I was just fucking with you. It is just a funny distinction that you had to make. To be like, I'm all for women getting
I'm for the
opportunities.
women's test. That's not what I have the issues for.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you.
The test was completed on Friday, and I've been just anxiously awaiting to hear about it because I wasn't able to watch it. I work a 9 to 5, so unfortunately I wasn't able to watch it. And there was very little coverage of it, which is really upsetting, especially because everyone and their freaking mother was writing about how this was going to be a groundbreaking day of testing, how this was going to further women in motorsports, how it was going to potentially change the trajectory of women in motorsports. When it was announced, we had like thousands of those articles, and people were really, just pulling in those clicks, pulling in those views. And now that it's actually happened, I found 3 articles that actually covered it in depth of what happened. That's so frustrating to see, especially because this was a huge thing and it went well. It went really, really well, especially for Abby Poling, who we were talking about earlier. She went the fastest, which might be one of the only things that people saw. But for reference, she was 3.4 seconds off the fastest time of the week set by Mitch Evans, who drives for Jaguar? Jaguar? What's the right way to say it?
Jaguar. Not Jaguar.
Jaguar? Jaguar? Wait, you say it. No, don't say it like that. Is that how you say it?
No, it's just Jaguar.
Anyways, Mitch Evans, she was 3.4 seconds off of his time.
Is Mitch Evans American?
I doubt it. I don't think there's any Americans in Formula E.
That sounds like such a fucking dude that I would have went with to high school with. Like, that is such an American name.
It really is. No, that's true. But that's after Evans had multiple days of testing. She was 3.4 seconds off of him. First time ever being in a Formula E Gen 3, and they were at a track that none of them planned to be at. That's insane. And we're not talking about it. That's crazy numbers. That is crazy.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I hadn't heard anything actually about just other than it happened.
I wasn't even sure when it was happening because everyone posted when it was announced like months ago. They're like groundbreaking, whatever. And then it happened last week, and I the day of, I got a notification from the Formula E app. That's because no one was covering it on the day. And I even watched press conferences.
And you're the only person alive that has the Formula E
app. I'm the only one with the Formula E app.
For you, I wouldn't have any idea.
No one would know. I even watched the press conferences, and I don't remember who all was in the press conference. I remember it was the one with Jamie Chadwick, and they did like the normal, like, kind of introduce yourself, they ask a couple questions, and then the host like opened it up to all of the journalists that were in the room and go, okay, journalists, if you have any questions, this is the time that you can ask them. Just raise your hand, I'll call on you, and you can address your question and ask it. And she opened up the time for them to ask questions. Not a single goddamn one of them had a question. It's just like, did nobody like care about this outside of the headlines, outside of the article headlines? What are we doing?
Yeah, they just wanted like the clicks of like, see, like we're helping women. See, guys, Are you happy? Like women are here. Like, can we shut up about women now? Like they're here, they're driving, and then they like left and went home.
Which is so dumb because I mean, and genuinely, it's not on Formula E at all because Formula E did a really great job putting this on, and their CEO, wait, let me look up his name, Jeff Dodds. He was thrilled about this. He was like giddy about this. He's like, he was talking about like how amazing all the drivers were, and he's like, I would be incredibly disappointed if at least a few of these women didn't go on to be Formula E drivers in the future. And he was talking about, he's like, we will absolutely have a woman champion before Formula One ever does. He 100% believes it's going to happen soon too. Like, I don't understand where the disconnect is. It just, I don't know. It kind of soured something that is so amazing for this sport and for motorsport and for women in motorsport. It's got this like bitterness now because it's like, why did we stop giving a fuck? Like, why wasn't anyone genuine?
Can I be honest? I think it is because we're still in the performative phase. All you have to do is just say you had women there, and you already get like claps and oohs and ahs from people that only read the headlines. But like, that's all you need to like feel like you did something. And that's kind of like how I feel like F1 like uses F1 Academy too, in like a performative way. But like, for example, like I feel like I've taken note of like the F1 teams and the F1 drivers who have like really gone the extra mile to like treat their F1 Academy drivers like a true part of their team. Like, surprisingly, who does a great job with this in my opinion? Red Bull. I see so much content on the official Red Bull page about their Red Bull F1 Academy drivers. They did like the Goodwood, or what is that fucking British thing that people do? Goodwood? Okay, I was right. Okay, cool. I just second guessed myself because I thought there's no way I'm right about that. They like included their F1 Academy drivers in this like whole celebration of Red Bull drivers that they had. I feel like that is so like beyond what most teams do, which is like, oh yeah, we have one of those. All I was saying was like, compare how Red Bull treats their F1 Academy driver with like the drivers who they send the wives and girlfriends of the actual F1 driver to F1 Academy events.
Ferrari.
I'm sorry. Be serious and be for real with me right now.
Even what is the point of that? The basic level, you notice which teams tweet about the F1 Academy race that's currently happened. Haas does a really good job. Alpine does a really good job. I don't think I've ever seen one from Williams. I don't know. It just feels pathetic. Yeah. It just feels pathetic. Yeah. I don't know. It's incredibly frustrating, but I guess the moral of the story is cool things are happening for women in motorsports, whether we're talking about them or not. But I really do think we should be talking about him, especially because how freaking sick. No, hear me out. Are you hearing me out?
I'm listening.
Hear me out. Abby Poling goes to Formula E. Sick. And then they go to Miami. They're racing ovals. Yeah. Didn't I send this to you this week, I think?
Yeah.
That's
and then
gonna be
she goes
sick.
to IndyCar, and she wins the Indy 500, and then she's already won Le Mans probably at that point.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
she does the double.
And then she does the double. She wins the Coke 600.
The Coke 600
and then,
same day.
And then she shows up and she races Fernando Alonso at Monaco and wins, because Fernando Alonso is still in F1 at this point. And
well, this is only in like 10 years. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually what happens, and Abby Pulling rules the world. No, I'll go on record right now. Formula E, are you listening? I will watch my first Formula E race when there's a woman in it.
Damn.
I'll buy my first piece of merch. I'll buy tickets to the race. I'll be there. Homestead, Miami. If there is a woman in the race.
In Formula E. They have had women in Formula E in 2014 in one race.
Well, I was around then. I wish I was alive in 2014. I hadn't become sentient yet. I hadn't had thoughts of my own. What?
Like at the age of 16, I was like, yeah, no, I was a bot.
Like, I was literally a bot. So yeah, take that, Formula E. Put a woman in the car. You see they're fast. Now what?
Dude.
Do they have all their seats filled? I now need to research Formula E.
No,
is there open seats in Formula E? Okay, So Formula E teams, if you're looking to make some money and go really fast, I have a girl for you. Her name is Abby Pulling. Put her in the car. I will buy the merch. I'll show up at the fucking race. I'll listen to your little cars that sound like this.
It's not great.
I'll listen to that.
It's really not great.
I'll listen to that. I will ignore all of my critiques of Formula E, and I will be there front row spending money as a consumer if you put Abby Pulling in a car, or any woman.
And it's really funny because it sounds like they're like, he's like frothing at the mouth to finally like be able to like promote women in motorsports. He's like, please, someone. He's like, don't go to Formula One. Don't go to Formula One. Guys, we're going to have a champion before Formula One does. I hope it works out. So, I would love to see any of these women in a championship contending car in Formula E. So that's that on that. Media, get your shit together. I'm so sick of you. Forbes, if you're listening, I saw that you put an article out to announce that this was happening. And I saw that you never followed up. And I think that's BS. Forbes. What even is that?
Forbes.
Stupid. That's what it is. Stupid.
So that was really fun. That was the last time we'll ever talk about Formula E until they put a woman in the car. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make that promise.
We are boycotting them. No, we're not. I love Formula E.
No, I'm like punishing them for doing something good. I'm like, wow, you had a test? That's sick. Now what? Okay, I'm sorry. If you can hear in this record, MJ, can we just talk about the obvious?
What?
That this has been I think that we've reached all of the things that we wanted to talk about on this podcast. Mm-hmm. We finished the agenda. Can we just address the obvious that this was the most unhinged episode that this podcast has ever had?
It really was.
I think that we've had some technical difficulties. We've had my cats in the background fucking around with shit. We've had me acting like I have the giggles at 3 a.m. at a sleepover, but it's actually like 9 p.m. and I'm recording a podcast. And we've had everything. And now we're going to wrap it up. What do you think about that?
I think that sounds amazing.
So next week we have a guest, our first guest ever on the Lapsdown podcast. Everybody clap. If you're not clapping, clap now. Okay. And then we're going to Vegas. Mm-hmm. That's going to be so much fun. And then we have a triple header of F1, and then F1's done. And you might be thinking, does that mean the podcast is done?
You Wrong. Wish.
We actually have some of our best ideas that we've like specifically been like, well, we'll have to wait until we have nothing else to talk about, like racing and current events wise. But there's some bangers that we have planned. Furthermore, if you're not following us already on social media, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram at Lapsdown Pod, we're on YouTube, Lapsdown Podcast. We've been having a lot of fun on YouTube. Lots of people comment, and it's actually like such a great little like vibe we have over there. It's a lot of NASCAR fans that are very fun, and they tell me and MJ a lot of stuff that we didn't know about like the lore of different drivers and stuff. So I very much enjoy our YouTube channel. Also, we have a musical number today. I think that we've reached the point where I can sing that. What do you think about that?
I can't wait. I can't wait. Do it.
Okay, ready? Everyone, clap after I'm done, okay?
Okay.
His name was Joey Logano. He won it despite all the drama. All the haters, they can eat shit because Joey Logano, he did it.
That was really good.
Thanks.
Dude, what are we doing?
Unfortunately, making a podcast.
We're recording this, actually.
So, yeah, after that musical number, I know that you're probably so excited to follow the pod and keep up with everything that we're up to, but we'll go ahead and end it there. Bye, everyone. Say bye, MJ.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.